Hi there, this is Thursday Thoughts. I'm Elizabeth Ricks, and I'm here with a special guest, Himanka, who is my hoof care professional and the professional for, how many horses do you have here at Wild Song?
Probably like 20.
Wow, 20.
I think I do 20 here.
That's bananas. Well, I've known you, okay, so you've been doing my horses' hoofs for 6 or 7 years now.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I know, I was thinking about that today, and I learned something from you every time. And I feel like I should, because you are just a wealth of information, I feel like I should know more than I do. But luckily I have you. And the reason that you're here is because this week I have been thinking a lot about the holistic horse. As a trainer, especially more and more over the past 5 or 6 years, I have felt really strongly that there's not as much I can do for a horse unless the horse's whole life and lifestyle needs are met. Right? Like I think a trainer, for the most part, there's a lot expected of them that feels like unfair because a horse comes with behavioral problems, and those behavioral problems could be caused by a number of different things that are not just training. And when we're talking about trying to get away from the idea of finished horses, like I spoke about last week, then we really have to look at the whole horse. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that, because I think you believe in that as well, how much it influences the horse's hoof, right? So I don't have a specific question, but what sort of thoughts come up when we talk about that?
So when you start talking about holistic, meaning that everything, including the environment, the mental part of the horse, the emotional part, and of course the lifestyle, and you include diet, and you include all these things. When you start having an animal that's evolved in the wild, and you put it in captivity, and you have to actually compensate a lot of things. Right. So in order to make it fair for them, you need to understand where they're coming from. Right. So diet, movement, exercise, it's important, and the peace of mind. So a lot of people anthropomorphize like the thing that the horse is happy working. Well, yes and no, I don't know, right? They don't tell you that. Sometimes they do. Yeah. But the thing is that you have to come from the point of that the horse is a meditator. Yes. The horse is meditating, and their best attribute is the awareness.
And what is their idea of work?
Exactly.
Right? So when we impose, I actually had a trainer say to me, like, everything needs a job in this world, but then when we're imposing our jobs on them, does it make sense to them? Is it fair? Is it meaningful? Whereas like, as you said, like their main job would be meditating, finding resources. Like their idea of pay is food, friends,
and they're placing the herd.
Yes, relationship with
relationships.
Friends. Yeah.
It's a social animal.
Yeah.
You see them in herds. Even horses that been in captivity, that you put back on herds, then they behave like that.
Yes.
It's not like that the horse has never seen a herd in his life and he's not going to find it. Yeah, he might be a little social, has his things that he doesn't understand because he didn't grow up like that. But the instinct and the will to do that is there. Yeah. And they're wired, like the amygdala is super high on the horses is huge, because what happens is that they're meant to flee. Yes. Right? And they're being aware. So I have a thought about the horses being aware. The horse that's more aware and has a lot of stress, because that's his job, being aware of the predators.
Right, that's back to their job.
Back to their job.
Right? Keeping the herd safe, keeping themselves safe.
Safe, exactly. And the horse that reacts fastest, that has the fastest reflexes, more aware, is the one that they respect. Yes. Yeah. And that's a cool thing about the horse, that we're trying to make the horse do things that are not very natural for the horse. Yeah. Yeah. And at the end, that's one of the things that I started endurance for, because I wanted to make the horse an athlete. Yeah. I wanted to help the horse become, more than the horse probably did on his own. Right. But balancing his health. Right. Right. And you can, like everything, you make him an athlete, and then you have an athlete. but you have to keep the athlete in shape.
Well, and this is interesting.
You know?
We were talking about
so
this earlier, right? Is because
it's a different thing.
human athletes are expected, to watch their diet, to monitor their sleep. They have a training routine, but they're also, focused on their mental health. And I mean, there's just this holistic thing. Their shoes, their clothing, the tools they need, right? So then, if a human athlete needs that much in order to perform, and then suddenly a horse athlete is just expected to be trained, then we're missing a huge part of the picture.
Exactly.
To get us back. Like, they need diet, they need body work, they need, good shoes,
good hoof care.
Hoof care, right?
So the hoof care is what I explained is very, very basic. The horse is meant to walk all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
Up to 30 miles a day for the wild horses out there.
All the time. So the hoof, it's being worn on the toe because it doesn't grow down, it goes this way.
Got it.
So it's worn all the time.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you have to compensate.
Right.
And if you don't compensate,
that's why we trim.
then the hoof, everything migrates forward. And that's why everything that prevents that continuous wear, that's why you have to see things in 4 dimensions, and it's 3-dimensional hoof, how it grows, and over time.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Absolutely.
So like the whole thing that the horse you're trying to do, the fantastic thing about the tracks is that you're trying to make something that mimics what they have in nature.
Yeah. I guess this is,
right?
I mean, you and I know are believers in this, but like, can you explain to folks who might be running into this for the first time, these concepts we're talking about, but why is it that we try and pursue a natural horse as much as we can first? Right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it feels like a basic dumb question on the surface, but it's actually quite deep. Well, like, why are we trying to pursue a horse, that's natural first?
Yeah. Or like this example, a lot of people talk about meals. The horses don't have meals.
Yeah.
They're grazers. They eat all the time.
Right.
There's not like a meal.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Hey, herd, I'm gonna go have my dinner.
Excuse me, it's meal number 2. It's food o'clock, right?
and we make that. Because they're craving that.
Yeah.
Their stomach acids are producing all the time, so they're deprived of food.
Yeah.
And that's why when it's getting dark, the horse is just like looking for the food.
Yeah.
But that's not like, it doesn't happen in nature.
No, and it's
man-made.
Totally, it's man-made. And I think if we if we can start with what the horses have naturally, obviously we can only replicate so much of that in a domestic setting. These paddock paradises are, 1/10 of, maybe not even that, of the amount of space that a horse would actually roam around in. But in a domestic setting, we want to try and replicate nature as much as possible, because even though we have been domesticating horses for hundreds of years, they still have millions of years of evolution that are wired into them. This human involvement is such a small snippet in the amount of time that humans have been a part of horses' lives. So there's some alterations we have to make for a domestic setting in order for to not upset our neighbors.
I know.
And still have them in this world, because if we can't just release all the horses and have them be free, but we really should be looking at nature as our main teacher.
Yeah. Well, I have a horse that I sent to the prairies in a 2,000-acre place in Wyoming.
In Wyoming, yeah.
And this guy's thriving.
A thoroughbred? No, an Arabian.
It's an Arabian.
But it's they have a lot of thoroughbreds there, right?
They have a lot of thoroughbreds.
Right.
So Ali, at the beginning, he couldn't be rideable because he had a cyst on the coffin joint.
Oh, buddy.
Okay, so he's retired. And I was not going to go through the surgery. It was 60-40, and it was like, no.
Oh, buddy.
Not a good idea.
And he's older.
And no, but I got him when he was 2. And he was diagnosed at 6.
No.
Now he's 13.
Got it.
And he's totally sound.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
But I've been trimming him since he was 2.
Wow.
And I've been trimming him, religiously.
Best of the best here.
And this is the first time in his life, and he's 13, the first time in his life that I don't trim him for 3 months. Well, almost 4.
Because nature's taking care of it.
And his feet look like I just trimmed them yesterday.
Holy cow. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's
nature's the example.
Nature.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Philip. I love this. I always love talking to you, and I just so appreciate how, as a hoof care professional, you really are looking at every component of a horse's life. We talk about what can I do training wise to help your life, right?
Yeah.
Not only the behavior of the horse, but like what can I do to help balance the horse, through exercises and movement, right? And then we talk about our collaboration with the vet and our collaboration with nutritionists, and you're always talking to me about our hay, and it's just, I mean, it's so meaningful how to find professionals like you that really can see the whole horse
and be empathetic, because I think that one of my best lessons was to understand that most of it comes from pain. It's not behavior.
Totally.
It's pain. And if
you mean when horses misbehave while you're
or whatever, if you try to force it because the horse is in pain, they're gonna act.
Right.
Yeah. So you gotta be kind. You gotta be a little empathetic.
Yeah. Truth. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for joining Thursday Thoughts. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. Namaste. Bye. Perfect.